Hello everyone, Gara here and welcome to a new video. Today I'll be going over my Hearthstats Invitational games, and yeah, I'm starting off my match against Kistafa. As you just saw, I banned Hunter and he did so as well. I basically banned Hunter in every single matchup. I just think that, yeah, it's the strongest deck before the Leroy nerf and the Berserker nerf. So that was pretty standard. I opened with Mage because Mage was a very strong deck against all of his decks. And he opened with Druid. I anticipated him to open with Druid just because it's very solid deck. He has a good chance to beat my decks with Druid, and he didn't expect me to open with Handlock, so it's a good deck to open with in general, like Druid. And yeah, so I played Mage. I was very happy to play against his Druid. I have the double Doomsayer in my hand, which is very nice. And I have the Mad Scientist. Like, you always want to have the Mad Scientist over the secrets in your hand. So I'm very happy with that. I'm also very happy that he didn't innovate out any big creature in turn 1 or turn 2. So that he just used the Zero Power, so I'm in a very good spot here. He places Harvest Golem. So there I'm thinking, if I attack with my Mad Scientist into his Harvest Golem, it doesn't really do anything. I can ping it, but I didn't want to waste my coin. Like, I could ping the Harvest Golem, trade, play a Doomsayer, so I deny his turn 4 play, but he might even not have a turn 4 play. So I'm going over the options. I can Frostbolt it and then trade with my Mad Scientist. All those options look pretty bad, so I went for the Ice Block play, so I get a guaranteed duplicate. The thing, if I don't develop my Ice Block and he kills my Mad Scientist, I can get both secrets. I can get another Ice Block, and this is not what I want, because I have an Ice Block in my hand, so I want to get the maximum value out of my Mad Scientist. So I decided to play the Ice Block, let him trade, and get a duplicate. So he doesn't have a turn 4 play. He uses a Wrath for 1 to cycle his Wrath. It's a good play because I don't have any targets for the Wrath. Like, I have either really big minions or, yeah, Doomsayers, and besides the Mad Scientist I don't play anything small, so the Wrath will not really kill anything. Yeah, he saves the full life total on the Harvest Golem, which is very good as well, so I can ping it off. Or, yeah, it's also very nice against the Doomsayer because he will survive. Like, the second half of the Harvest Golem will survive and I have to ping it. So right now I'm pretty confident that he will not kill my Doomsayer and ping my duplicate. Because, yeah, it would be a very huge investment of damage. Like, it's almost impossible. He needs like an Innovate to, or like a Druid of the Claw in Charge from, to kill off my Doomsayer, which would not be worth it because, yeah, it would just, maybe it would be worth it because he gets the board. But I would get 2 Doomsayers back and I have to Frost Nova, so it would be a pretty huge investment to just save a Harvest Golem. So he's thinking of, yeah, shall he play the Shudrak to cycle it? It's not really worth it. Just hero powering it and attacking phase. This is what I want. Like, I don't proc duplicate because Doomsayer is not really a card I want to get back. Kill off half of the Harvest Golem. He doesn't play anything, so I'm basically also denying his turn 5 play with my Doomsayer. So I'm in a pretty good position here. I instantly coin out the Sylvanas because even if he silences it or kills it, I get 2 Sylvanas back. So it's really good value out of the duplicate. And I saw already one ref, so if I would force him to use a swipe, it would be really good. He didn't do it. He had a second ref. He had a very efficient trade on the Sylvanas, but it doesn't matter since I have like another Sylvanas in curve on turn 6. He plays the Shade here. It's another easy Sylvanas play for me. Like he can't... Yeah, even if he like... He needs to use a keeper. This is also something I wanna bait out, a keeper play. At least against one of my Sylvanas. So I will get a nice board clear with my Doomsayer plus Frostnova. But now he's thinking of the most efficient way to kill my Sylvanas. As you can see, he has like plenty of different ways. Like playing the lore here is not so good because I could just attack with my Sylvanas and steal his Shade. So he's going ahead since he has double Savage Show in his hand. It's a very nice, easy trade. He can still... it's a little bit awkward since he can't develop the Assure Drake, but it's very important that he kills my Sylvanas. And he can play also the BGH, but if he knows that I play Ragnaros, which he probably does, then he's saving the BGH for my Ragnaros. So I have another Sylvanas as a follow-up. So he managed to clear both Sylvanas, but now he has an open board, and Druid usually can't kill a Sylvanas. It's like awkward to kill a Sylvanas on an open board. You have to use cards like Swipe plus Hero Power, which would be fine since I don't know that he is holding a BGH. I don't even know, like a lot of Druids are not even playing BGH, so I wouldn't play around BGH with my Ragnaros. Like if he decides to swipe and Hero Power, he probably doesn't have a turn 2 play, so I will just slam my Ragnaros out there next turn. He is thinking of playing the Lore to draw 2 cards, since I would just trade 1 for 1 with my Sylvanas, which is a fine play. What he doesn't know is that I will just play the Ragnaros and go for the 50-50. I got a hit on Lore, it's very nice. I would be in a very dominating spot here if he wouldn't have had the BGH. But as you can see, he has the BGH. He can swipe Hero Power and kill my Ragnaros with the BGH, which is a very good answer for this very strong board. And after he does that, my hand is actually pretty exhausted in terms of having big minions. I have a Water Elemental right now, but I have the card draw, so it is fine. Like he will not develop too big of a threat. And I also have the Frostbolt as an answer. So this is what he's going to do. It's actually pretty nice. He had actually very nice answers for 3 Sylvanas, which is rarely the case as a Druid. So I was before it in a very good spot. I hit the lore, I had 3 Sylvanas with my duplicate, but he had the answers for it, so I think I'm a little bit behind right now since he is holding the combo and Ragnaros and he has board control. But I got the Drake, I got 2 more strong minions. I have the Doomsayer, but what I don't know, I know in this situation I know that he didn't play a keeper. Like, this annoys me a little bit, but I have to force him to play his keepers. Like, I played 3 Sylvanas and he didn't have to silence one of them, and I'm playing a Drake and he still doesn't have to silence it. So I really have to... What I didn't know is I expected him after he played so many card draw cards that he will have at least 1 keeper in his hand. So he slams his Ragnaros and hits my Drake. So right now I have the sheep as an answer for his Ragnaros, but I'm still in a bad spot because he still didn't have to use a keeper. So I'm very worried with my hand right now. I have the double Nova Doomsayer, but I know that he still has two keepers left in his deck, so he will just silence my Doomsayer when I play it. So I really have to establish the bot control, and a lot of my big threats are already gone, and I couldn't break through. So right now I'm thinking what is the biggest minion I can play. Like I want to remove any minion just to be as safe as possible to the Force of Nature Savage Roar. And I don't need to play the taunt just yet. So I like to use the Water Elemental to deny his hero power. Plays the Drake, it's like a perfect card if you have like swipes and revs. He doesn't have either of them. He used already two revs. It's still a nice card to play. Druid is very efficient with his in the mid game with all the counter cards if you have them, if you have the Lores and the Drakes in your hand. It's very difficult to exhaust the Druid. So he has a very annoying board right now, the Spectral Knight. I can't kill it since it's untargetable. Then I'm thinking about the most efficient way. I don't want him to block my Ice Block. I don't have any Molten Giants right now, so I have to deny the spell power. I'm playing a Sludge. So right now I'm behind a lot in this game. It really depends on what my draws are going to be. He gets his Keeper here. Well, I expected him to have this Keeper for, yeah, already. The Sludge Belcher is a little bit annoying for him. He can kill off my Water Elemental with the Keeper, which is convenient. He can just use one of the Force of Natures. It's like a plenty different ways. So he's just using one Force of Nature, which is very efficient. He clears my board. I cannot still target his minion. He can develop another minion. So right now he's in a leading position. Right now I know he can easy proc my block with the Force of Nature combo. He drew already big parts of his deck. So right now I'm very far behind. I know I need a Flame Strike. I know I have still two Flame Strikes in my deck. I have two Frost Novas. I'm thinking about the possibilities. If he procs my block, I still have like the board. If he silences my Assure Drake, I can do Nova Doomsayer next turn. So the most efficient play would be to play the Assure Drake plus the Sludge Belcher. It's difficult to proc my block, and even with the Innervate, I have to risk it here. He can't block my block. I went for the Doomsayer play. Just, yeah, I hoped he... It was a very small chance that he didn't have the Keeper. I expected him to have the Keeper, but if I would have played the Assure Drake, he could have just silenced my Assure Drake and killed it off very easy with the hero power. So Yeah, I was like behind in this situation. I needed a flame strike. I was really hoping to draw a flame strike. Even if he develops the board here, I can still clear it with my flame strike. And I'd rather have him silence my Doomsayer than my Drake. I'm just out of threats at this point. I don't have many big minions left in my deck. And it was also important to... Just the Frost Nova helped me to deny him to use Force of Nature to proc my block. Since I didn't draw my Molten Giants as well, I have to protect my life total. I get the Arcane Intellect here, and I was pretty sure if I used this card, that's why I just used it, that I will draw a Flame Strike. Chance was pretty high. So I got my Flame Strike, which was very nice. So I came back there, but he still has so many cards in his hand. I just knew he will just redevelop the board every turn. He has a nice Innovativity play. And I'm again behind. I was thinking at this point, he's also pretty low with his life pool. Like, if he would ignore my board and go for... But he should have used the Force of Nature combo here, I believe, anyways. But he wouldn't have cleared my board. So he was worried at this point. If he uses his Force of Nature combo to just to go face and clear my... Yeah, to prop my shield, my ice block. I had another ice block, I had a Nova. So I could have pushed for lethal in 2 turns here myself. So I went for that play. But right now he's not thinking at all about proccing my shield. He's thinking about clearing my board and win that way. He knows that I don't play the freeze mage version with a lot of burst damage, so he knows if he manages to just clear my threats, that he will win that way. So he was not under pressure of proccing my shield and finishing the game. He also just saw on Flame Strike. He probably didn't know I played 2 Flame Strikes, so he wasn't worried about any AoE. His minions are like very low life. It's very nice. I drew my Antonidas here, which changes a lot. I can use Antonidas plus Frost Nova. He used buff keepers, so I knew he can't kill my Antonidas if he doesn't play the Force of Nature combo. And if he uses the Force of Nature combo, he will not be able to burst me down. I have 2 ice blocks still left. I still have both my Molten Giants. The slot play actually changed a lot from his perspective. Like, it makes my Fireball cost 9 mana. So he's thinking, if he plays lower tap, I can Fireball once, get another Fireball. But his entire board survives. He saw 2 Frost Novas already. He has only 4 cards left. He was thinking he needs to protect his board. So he's going for the lower tap Assure Drake play. He's thinking he can clear my board next turn and push for and proc my block at the same time. He doesn't know that I would just go for the lethal play in my turn. So passes was a solid play from his perspective, but I have the Frostbolt. And with the Frostbolt, Antonidas and the Hero Power, since I know he played already both floors, I know he doesn't have heal anymore left. So I will just win the game next turn. Yep. We just realized I have two fireballs in my hand. He's trying to fish for something that might save him. But there's nothing left. So that was game one. But he has Handlock left, so he decided to go Rogue instead. I'm usually very confident with that matchup. I think Mage is slightly favored. I'm basically fishing for cards like Mad Scientist, Doomsayer, Arcane Intellect, Water Elementals, Twilight Drakes, Frostbolts, all the early game stuff. He doesn't play a standard Miracle version. Like, he played some sort of a token Druid, a token Miracle Rogue with Violet Teacher, Shades. He uses the Taunus for cycling. Just ping it. No point in using the Doomsayer. Plays a Shade and I immediately see that it's not a normal Miracle Rogue version. I go ahead and play the Doomsayer. He has to invest a lot of cards to kill my Doomsayer. Doomsayer is the best played in turn 3 when you go second. He's deciding to kill my Doomsayer to protect the Shade. He has next turn the Preparation Coin Conceal, which is the absolute dream hand. So in my turn, I'm thinking I have the coin Flame Strike, which I can use in turn 6. So I'm playing the Twilight Drake over just the Frostbolt, because usually against Miracle Rogue it's better to develop a minion than just removing one of the opponent's minions almost every single time. And he was one turn away from the Auctioneer coin seal, because he didn't have the coin. So the only play this was weak against was preparation conceal auctioneer, and he had it, so I was pretty screwed. Now that I see this play, I'm like, I would probably still play the same. Like, because it's very unlikely that he has preparation conceal auctioneer in turn 5 without the coin. After using already one backstep, so he doesn't even. It's very unlikely that he has like the second backstep for card draw as well. Yeah, I'm pretty desperate. I'm playing the Doomsayer just because he has to clear my board if he doesn't have lethal. But I'm so far behind. Uh, Even next turn when I have the Coin Flame Strike, his Shade is still alive. So at this point I guaranteed lost the game. Yeah, there's no way I can come back in this game, so yeah, I'm just went ahead and conceded. So he won with his Mercury Rook, and I just picked Handlock because it's the best counter I had for this deck. I'm looking for the Giants and the Shudrakes. Faceless is usually also a good card when you have already the guaranteed turn 4 play. When you go first. So he's trying the BGH here, which will be a very big surprise for me later. I didn't see his BGH in the previous match, so yeah, this is going to be a very big surprise. This is also like a reason why I didn't play Handlock, why I just picked Handlock, because I didn't know he plays BGH. Just pretty standard, just using double tap, playing the Drake in turn 4, playing the Faceless in turn 5. He's going to coin out a Violet Teacher here, which is also a card I haven't seen in the previous game. I only saw the Shade, so it looked like a pretty standard Miracle Rock with Shades instead of Farseers. Just playing my Shield Drake, passing, pretty standard Handlock play. So he can zap it, which is usually bad. You usually want to save your zap for a taunted minion. He can't really kill it either, so it's a little bit weird. From my perspective, it's also a little bit weird since I don't have the Mortal Coil. So if you would just like develop another minion and pass, I probably have to play a Shoe Drake just because it's a very annoying threat, the Violet Teacher with the ability to spawn many 1/1s. So it's a card that has to be killed very fast, especially when he gets the Auctioneer out. It's just playing another Violet Teacher and goes face. So this is awkward, because usually I would just spam the Faceless instantly. But double Violet Teacher will just spawn many 1/1s. But I probably still have to play the Faceless over the Watcher. The Watcher is the Defender of Argus is just weird. If I would just play it, the chance is very high that it will just get zapped, and if it will be zapped, his bot might just get crazy with the double Violet Teacher. So I decided to. I didn't want to Soulfire there because I have two valuable cards in my hand with the Taunts, the Sunfury Protector, and the Shadow Flames, the Molten Giant, the Leroy. All those cards I didn't want to discard. So he plays the first zap. So I'm actually in a better spot right there with playing the Faceless. Even compared to the Defender of Argus. If I would have played the Argus, he would have just zapped my minion. He would have lost one Violet Teacher, but I had no board. The Argus is just not a threat. I can still work with the Issue Drake. So he's thinking right now to conceal his board, which he's probably gonna do. He doesn't have the Auctioneer in his hand. And even in worst case scenario, I Shadow Flame, he's still left with one Violet Teacher. Considering the board, gets more 1/1s. So at this point, if I don't Shadow Flame, I will probably just get annihilated. You always have to be scared that the opponent is holding Leroy and Shadow Steps. Just one Leroy Shadow Step is already 12 damage. So they either have the Auctioneer plus card draw or the Leroy with Shadow Steps, and both situations are really bad. So right now I'm just thinking which minion to Shadow Flame and thinking about my turn 7 play. So if I use a Shadow Flame on the Watcher, then my Molten Giant will be at 5 mana and I can still play it next turn for 4 mana. But I couldn't Shadow Flame next turn. So I'm just going over the turns here and try to figure out what's the best possible play. I can also not Leroy Shadow Flame next turn. I'm also thinking about which minion to Shadow Flame next turn. He gets another zap. It's pretty huge. He has the BGH and the zap. It's like exactly the two cards he wants to have. If he would go face here and ignore my Drake, he's very weak to the second Shadow Flame. He's very weak to Hellfire, and he wouldn't play around Molten Giants. If he would go face here and I would Hellfire, I would still have my Drake left and could play double Molten Giants, which is absolutely devastating, and I could still play Sunfury Protect on top of it. So he has to kill my Drake if he wants it or not. He wants to protect the Violet Teacher because of the effect, but he can't afford it at this point. So here he just basically hopes I play my Mountain Giant over Drake, and I do it. So he gets really nice BGH value the next turn. I obviously play the Mountain Giants because I don't expect I have the Leroy for burst damage, and I don't expect him to have a BGH. And I want to push for damage myself. I want to pressure him as much as possible. So here he will just BGH my Mountain Giant. He can play the Auctioneer. He can also play Auctioneer plus Zap and then BGH me when I replay my Giant. He's not afraid of Shadow Flame anymore. So he's considering to play the Auctioneer, which is fine. If I replay my Giant, I just BGH and think of just BGHing and not pushing for any damage or just one damage, so I can still not play my Molten Giants. He's basically setting up, and he has also Zap for my Moltens. So both ways of playing this game is fine. I mean, he doesn't know my exact hand, so it's a tough decision from his perspective. He doesn't want to waste a Zap, and if he plays BGH, my Giant is guaranteed dead. And he can just play around Moltens and wait he wants to play the Sprint, basically, to draw more cards. Since I didn't play Taunt, he's really considering to just push for damage. Since, I didn't play Taunt and he still has a Zap. He has 8 plus another 4, 12 damage. 13 damage. He can draw like another Cold Blood, Poison. He decides to zap immediately. At this point, he committed way too much for this play, so there's no backing out. He can't play around Molten Giants at this point. It's just too much damage he has. I got a very nice draw here. I got my second Soulfire. After Shudrake, I have the Argus. I have the double Molten Giant. I can kill off his Shade. I can kill off his Auctioneer. I can double taunt Molten Giants. I mean, this basically seals the deal against Murkrok. He gets his Lyra here, but my board is way too strong. He used both Zaps as well. He can kill my board with the Blade Fury plus Cold Blood. And yeah, trade trade a BGH into one of the minions, one of the giants. He can still recover the sprint. I don't know the exact list he plays. If he has like direct damage, but he needs only cards like Eviscerate and Sinister Strikes. I'm very low on life and I can't tap anymore. If he manages to deal with my board, like I'm out of the game. I can't life tap anymore. So next turn he can also SI7, sprint SI7 and kill my giant. So he's not out yet. Yeah, I drew the power whelming. I do quickly the math here, how much damage I have for next turn. Do I need to life tap? Which cards do I have to dodge? I know I'm dead to one Eviscerate, so I can't life tap anymore. I have enough damage and he has to deal with my board. So I'm just going ahead and pushing for damage here. I don't know that he plays cards like Sprint. So if I would have life tapped, I would have died to the poison. So he went ahead and played the poison over the sprint because he can't kill me with the sprint probably. So yeah, it was a very close game. So I won with my Handlock against his Murkrok and he just decides to play a mirror match. I'm heavily favored since I play double BGH in my Handlock. Not much to say about the opening hands. Like you try to mulligan for drakes and mountain giants. I keep BGH and ults and mortal coils because it's a direct answer to his big threats. When you go first with Handlock, you usually want to have the answer to his openers, because he will play his turn 4 play first, because he goes first. Except you coin out an Assure Drake as you see here, and this is also what I'm going to do. I'm going out to my Assure Drake just to have my threat on the board before he plays his threat. But I have double BGH in my hand. So yeah, I'm happy he has a nice juicy mountain giant there. Nom nom nom. This is like the nightmare. you play a Mountain Giant and it gets BGH'd, but his hand is still pretty decent. He can play the Sludge Belcher and Soulfire my BGH. He has the Mortal Coil for the Owl. He doesn't have the Owl just yet. He's thinking of using Soulfire. He has a very strong hand. Basically whatever card he discards is very bad for him. So he's not gonna use my Soulfire. Don't blame him, his hand is very strong. Especially when I'm pressuring him, the double Molten Giants are very good. So my hand is a little bit weird. I have like a hand that has many answers to the threats he plays. With the O, with the BGH, with the Shadow Flames, Hellfires. I have double Sunfury Protector, which is also not that good. I tap and draw a Drake, which is kind of unfortunate because I'm left with 3 mana. So I'm gonna go ahead and attack it, heal my Drake back. Since he didn't silence my Drake, he would have definitely silenced my Drake and killed it over just playing a Sludge Belcher. So I knew he didn't have an O. So he draws another Soulfire. So at this point, well, he has to tap and get an O. He taps and gets the Soulfire. It's kind of unfortunate for him that he didn't draw the Siphon Soul on turn 6. It was one card late. So he turns up the Watcher, still saving his Soulfires. He doesn't want to discard a Siphon Soul, which is good play. I draw a Giant. I can tap and play my Giant. Or a Drake. I know he doesn't have he could have a BGH, but he doesn't have Owl, so I'm playing my Drake over my Giant. And it's much stronger against Shadow Flame as well. Even if he would have a Giant plus Shadow Flame, which he can't play, because his Giant costs 4 mana. My Drake would still alive with 2 HP, which is the point. So he needs something like Powerwhelming, attack with the Sunfury Protector into my Drake and then Shadow Flame. Something like that. And even if you would do that, I have a Mountain Giant for 3 mana next turn, which I can Shadow Flame. Which was also my setup, by the way. He taps, plays his Giant, so he's like very far behind right now because he always has to react to, like, I'm always the first to act. Like, I play my stuff first and then he plays his stuff, so I can Shadow Flame first and remove his stuff. Like, his play is like extremely weak to a Giant Shadow Flame play. So my Giant costs 3 mana, I'm gonna slam it on the board, use my Shadow Flame, remove his Giant and his Watchers, and usually use the Watcher for your own Shadow Flame. Playing around Molten Giants. I'm actually thinking if we even should play around Molten Giants, since I have the BGH in my hand and the Shadow Flame. And it's very unlikely that he has both Molten Giants. He could just have one Molten Giant, and if he plays one Molten Giant, I could just... But yeah, you still wanna... I don't have lethal, so there's really no point in actually just going for them and give him 3 Molten Giants. Might, like, leaving his Molten Giant and 4 mana cost, can still make his play awkward, which it does. He has to use a Siphon Soul plus all, which is fine. He can't afford to. This is actually interesting. He thought I have lethal in my hand if he leaves my Drake alive. He was very scared of dying, since I didn't play anything. Like, my hand was clogged. He thought I had like a lot of burst damage in my hand, but I had like a lot of Sun Fury Protectors and Watchers and Hellfires and situational cards. So I'm just playing my Lotep here, preventing him from doing nasty stuff with his ult. Setting up lethal in a sense. I have power whelming. I can use do a really strong power whelming Watcher Shadow Flame. I saw him discarding a Molten Giant, which is really strong, so I know I don't have to play around Molten Giants anymore. I don't care if he gets like one cheap Molten Giant. At this point I just want to push for lethal. He taps. It's weird. He can't Soulfire Multicoil since it's a lower tap. He doesn't really know how to deal with my guy. He's thinking of playing the Molten Giant or the Shoe Drake. Or just Leroy. He's really scared of dying. He's even gonna kill a 1-1 then pushing for damage. Since he uses his Leroy, he will be out of burst damage. So he's playing very defensively here. He actually, the whole time he thinks I have a Leroy combo in my hand, but I don't. So every turn he thinks he's dead anyways. Then he's very surprised that he's not dead. So he's like, oh, am I still alive? And here he can play the Shadow Flame Molten Giant. Which should definitely be the play. But he's thinking if, well, he can life tap first. I mean, he's dead anyways if I have to combo. So he's going ahead to Multicoil first. Oh, and he draws the BGH, and it changes a lot since now he can play the Black Knight and the BGH. He develops the board, and he doesn't have to sacrifice his Molten Giant. And he can still use the Molten Giant Shadow Flame next turn. So he has actually really nice answers here. He can still use the Shadow Flame on Molten Giant, but he wouldn't develop the board, so he doesn't have anything to fight with next turn. Yeah, he goes for a little bit of strange play. He thinks he needs to develop the board so he can Black Knight my Watcher next turn and push for damage himself. But yeah, I have all the answers in my hand. Like, I have the all power whelming, which is 8 damage. I have the Hellfire, which is 3 damage. I have like many different ways to deal with this board. I have the BGH, I have the Siphon Soul, I have the Hellfire. Definitely going to play my BGH here, since he discarded the other Molten Giant. He's like, wait, what? I play double BGH? And yeah, I'm setting up lethal for next turn. I just can't believe that I played the second BGH. So, yeah, that's how I roll. Honestly, I didn't even need the BGH to win this, the second one to win this game. So yeah, he tapped, he's down, I can silence my guy, powerbomb, hit for 8, and use Ragnarus. Just hit for 4 and hit there and play Ragnarus. Yep, that was my series against Christopher. Very close games. He played really well. He surprised me a lot, especially with his Miracle Rock deck. And my next matchup in the semifinals is against Amas. So hope to see you guys there.